Okay, how's it going, everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you the differences in between a $3 tech deck, $40 fingerboard, and $150 fingerboard. So starting off, we have just a basic tech deck, $3, and then for our $40 board, we just have a broken knuckle complete fingerboard, and then for the $150 fingerboard, we have an orange wood deck with Black River trucks, Witchcraft bushings, and Winkler bearing wheels. So now I'll talk about the different parts on the boards. So to start off, I'll start with the tech deck. The tech deck is made out of plastic opposed to the other boards being made out of wood. The trucks are made of metal with really cheap bushings, so the trucks don't move very well. It's pretty stiff. And then for the grip tape, you just have normal like skate grip, kind of like sandpaper texture. And then for the wheels, you just have a little bit of plastic on the axle of the truck, so it's a pretty rough ride. It's not going to be very smooth whenever you roll it. You can kind of hear it in there. And then moving on to the next board, this is a broken knuckle fingerboard complete. This is a 5-ply deck, so to make any wooden fingerboards, they make it exactly like a real skateboard. They put different layers of veneer on there and then glue them together under high pressure, which makes it a lot stiffer and it pops a lot better. For the grip tape, it's kind of like a foam, so it's a lot grippier on your fingers, which really helps. The trucks look a little similar to the tech deck trucks, but they have actual bushings. They're a little bit better made, and the wheels have bearings in them, which makes them roll a lot smoother. Although these bearings aren't the best, as you can see, they stop spinning pretty quickly. It's still a much smoother ride than the tech. So the last board we have here is my custom fingerboards custom deck made by Orangewood Fingerboards. It has our logo right on the bottom, which looks really nice. This board really helps you see the different plies. So on the bottom you can see it's like wood color, then black, and then turquoise bluish, and then black, and then wood again. So that looks really neat. This board has a lot of pop. It makes a little bit of a different sound because I think these were it's a little bit higher quality wood. So this one sounds kind of waterlogged. So I don't know if it was the type of glue or what, but this is definitely a much stiffer and more responsive deck. Moving on to the trucks, these are probably the most expensive trucks you can buy. They're Black River trucks. They're 32 millimeters wide, and they have Witchcraft bushings in them, which are I think $9 bushings, but they're so flexible, especially compared to the tech deck trucks. They're really nice, and so like whenever you're carving, it's really smooth, and you have all this turning radius to mess around with. And then lastly, the wheels. I've had these for about 2 years, and they still spin really well. Some of them do, but there you go. That one spins for quite a while. So the difference between these wheels and the Winkler wheels is I think these are actual urethane, so those are exactly what skate wheels are made out of. And then the bearings are just a little more high quality. I think they're sealed a little better than the other ones, and that's about it for the differences. Oh, and the grip tape is also a little bit thinner and stickier than this grip tape on the $40 fingerboard, which really helps for like flips and tricks and stuff. It makes it a little more exact and easier to land stuff. One last thing that I forgot to cover was the size difference in all these. So these trucks are about the same size. They're about 29 millimeters wide. As you can see, it's exact width of this deck, the tech deck. But the Black River trucks are 32 millimeters wide, which just makes it a little easier to do grinds and stuff on stuff, and it's a lot easier to land tricks. And then as far as the decks go, so this one's 29 millimeters wide, that one is 32 millimeters wide, and this one is 31.5 millimeters wide. This just helps, it's a little more comfortable, especially on a thinner deck. It's harder to get your flip tricks down. It just makes it a little bit easier to be more exact on the wider boards. So now that we did that, I'll do a bunch of different tests of all the different decks. Starting off, I'll do a roll test for all of them, and you can see the differences in how they roll. Now next I'll do an ollie test. So I'll do, this one's plastic. This grip tape makes it a lot harder to actually do tricks and stuff on. On my deck. The pop from this deck is way better than the other two, and the grip makes it a lot easier to control the ollie midair. On this one, I'd lose it a little bit, just like that. The grip tape on this is really not good for your fingers. It just doesn't really stick to your fingers that well. Okay, moving on next, we'll do a kickflip test. Double. There it goes. So that one, it took me a couple tries just because it's so narrow and it really sticks. Plus, when I do my normal flick for my other boards, this one spun about twice as fast, so my first one actually did a double on accident. Moving on to the $40 fingerboard. The underflip, just with the tape. There it goes. So this one's not bad. Like I said earlier, the pop is a little less, I don't know, it's a little less responsive than the Orangewood deck, but it's still not bad. And the grip tape's a little thick, but it still gets the job done, sticks to your fingers pretty well. So now for the $150 one, first try. I really like this deck, obviously. So for this board, it's obviously a lot poppier, it's a lot more controlled. I think there's something on the bottom of my wheels, that's why it's making that kind of weird rolling sound. Yeah, there's something right there, I'll get it. But as far as kickflips go, the grip tape on this one especially makes it a lot easier to control, plus it's the width that I really like. So that makes it a lot easier to control the flip. Next, we'll do a grind test. So first I'll do a board slide, just so you can see how fast and well it slides. So this one slides pretty well. And then I'll also show the bottom of it afterwards. This one's not gonna last very long. Like, this graphic will kind of wear off, not after not too long, especially if it's on something rough, just because it is really cheap. As far as sliding goes, it slid pretty well, but that's because it is plastic. Next we'll do this one. This one definitely felt a lot more controlled. Whenever you're sliding, it has a little more of a realistic like skate feel. Like, you can feel the like bumps and different things in the rail a little better. Plus it's a little more controlled. Once you land, it's not gonna like shoot out from under your fingers or anything. And lastly, now this one definitely slid, I think, a little faster than this one, but slower than that one. But it still had like a little, that control feel that the other wooden one had. This is because the like lacquer on the bottom of this one is a lot harder than this one. Like, this one, it feels like my finger gives in a little bit, but this one, it feels like a lot more of a like hard surface, so it slides really well. All right, now we'll do a grind test. So this one and this one are gonna be about the same, since they're almost essentially the same exact truck. So you're not gonna get too much of a difference in grinds like that, but on the Black River trucks, those are going to feel a little different just because they are a little wider. Your board is going to be able to move a little bit more, and especially on crookeds and stuff like that, it's going to be a lot easier to lock into. We'll do just a few other tricks. Tray flip. Then I'll just try to do a few tricks on the boards just to see the difference, and if I can think of anything else, I'll let you know. All right, so I'll just try to do a kickflip board slide. Right off the bat, I can already, it's so much harder to control this board. Like, I can't really make it do what I want to do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that one on the side. Wow, first try with this board. So that really makes a big difference in the grip tape. I never really thought it would, but once I finally realized that it did, I got something that stuck a lot better to my fingers, so it made it a lot easier to control. The whole time I was going for a kickflip board slide, and this one, it kind of stayed like I was going for either a feeble or like a 50-50, but this one, first try, I got it to flip the way I wanted it to. So if you're trying to decide what fingerboard you think you should get, I'm gonna give you the easy option. So if you're just thinking about trying it out, don't even know, like literally I've never messed with one of these before, I'd try a tech deck just to see, like you're only gonna spend $3, you're not gonna waste that much money, and then just mess around with that a little bit. If you like it and you're getting kind of frustrated because you're doing enough tricks to where it's like hard to learn on this one, then I'd say go ahead and get a beginner board. I wouldn't jump straight to the $150 professional board, just because if you end up not liking it or you only do it for like a month, that's a lot of money to just have sitting around. So this one's only $40, which isn't that bad, and it still works really well. It's 10 times better than a tech deck, just because you can actually learn other tricks and like control your flip tricks and have a lot more fun with it. And then if you do like this one, then I'd go ahead and say, like once, like piece it together, because I originally got this deck first, and then I put the trucks on, and then the wheels. I did it piece by piece, that way I didn't just drop $150 at once. That's up to you, but that's what I'd recommend. All right, so that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions about any of these or any other videos you'd like me to do, please let me know. Make sure to go ahead and check out Custom Fingerboards, which is my company that I have on the deck here. We make custom rails, obstacles, anything you want, concrete. We can weld rails for you, whatever you want. Get in contact with us. Our Instagram will be right down here in a second. And that's it. Thanks for watching.